The morning in the village was quiet, too quiet. Even the birds were not singing. Aman sat on the cold ground outside his small house, looking at the sky. His eyes were tired. His heart was heavy. He was just 17, but life had made him feel much older. His father had gone missing 1 year ago. His mother was very sick. He had no brothers, no sisters, no one to help. He worked in the fields, he cooked, he cleaned, and every night he prayed. But the truth was, he had started to lose hope. Aman was not like other boys in the village. He didn't laugh much. He didn't talk too often. He was kind, yes, but quiet. People said, "Poor boy, he's carrying too much." And they were right. Aman missed his father every day. He had dreams of him walking back through the gate, smiling, hugging him, saying, "I'm home, son." But every morning, Aman woke up, and the gate was still empty. The truth was harder to accept now. Maybe his father was never coming back. That morning, Aman walked into his mother's room with a bowl of soup. She was lying still, breathing slowly. Her face was pale. Her hands were cold. "Ami, please eat a little," Aman whispered. She opened her eyes and gave a weak smile. "You've become so strong, Beta," she said. "Stronger than I ever wanted you to be." He placed the bowl near her and held her hand. "I'm just trying, Ami," he said softly. She closed her eyes again. Aman stepped outside, sat on the steps, and looked at the empty road. That's when he saw something strange. An old man was walking toward him, a stranger. He wore white clothes, had a long white beard, and carried a small brown bag. He stopped in front of Aman and looked at him with calm eyes. "Are you Aman?" the man asked. "Yes." The old man nodded. "I have something for you." He opened his bag and pulled out a small letter wrapped in plastic. It was old, yellow, like it had been waiting a long time. Aman took it slowly. The old man smiled once more, then walked away. Not another word, just came and left. Aman looked at the letter. His hands were shaking. On the front, it said, "To Aman, when you start to lose your faith." He opened it. Inside was a small piece of paper, folded carefully. He opened it and read, "When you feel most alone, go where the sky touches the ground. Sit by the dead tree, wait until the sun sets, and do not speak. I will find you." That was all. No name, no address, just strange words. Aman looked around. The old man was gone. His heart was beating fast. What did this mean? Who sent this? And how did they know he was losing faith? That night, Aman couldn't sleep. He sat beside his mother, watching her breathe. In his heart, a war had started. Part of him said, "This is nonsense, don't go." Another part whispered, "What if it's true? What if someone knows something about your father?" By morning, he had made up his mind. He would go. He needed answers. After making sure his mother had medicine and food for the day, he told the neighbor to check on her. Then Aman walked out of the village, holding only a bottle of water, a small bag, and the letter. He knew the place, a dead tree on the edge of the field where no crops grew anymore, where the land was dry, where even animals didn't pass. He reached there before sunset. The wind was still. The sky was turning orange. Aman sat under the tree. He didn't speak. He just waited. Minutes passed, then hours. The sun touched the mountains in the distance. The shadows grew longer. Aman's eyes grew tired. Just when he thought of leaving, he heard footsteps behind him. Slow, heavy. He stood up quickly and turned. The old man was there. But he wasn't alone this time. Beside him stood a young woman, her face hidden by a scarf. Aman took a step back. "Who are you?" he asked. The old man raised his hand gently. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said. "I'm here to show you something." "What?" Aman asked. "The truth," the man said. "But first, you must give up something." Aman frowned. "Give up what?" The old man pointed at Aman's heart. Certainty. Aman felt confused, angry, and scared. "I came here for answers," he said. "And you will have them," the old man replied. "But only when you're ready to believe without proof. That's when real faith begins." The young woman stepped forward and gave Aman a photo. It was old. Aman looked at it closely. It was him, as a child, standing beside another boy, a boy he didn't remember. "Who is this?" Aman asked. The old man smiled. "That's the first question you must answer." He turned and began to walk away again. The woman followed. "Wait!" Aman called out, but they didn't stop. The wind blew harder. The letter in Aman's hand flew into the air. And just like that, they were gone. Aman stood alone in the fading light, holding the photo tightly. In his heart, something had shifted. He didn't know what he was looking for anymore. But he knew. This was only the beginning. The silence was over. The storm was coming. Aman could not sleep that night. He sat on his roof, holding the old photo tightly. The photo showed him as a child, standing beside a boy he didn't remember. Who was the boy? Why was this stranger giving him pieces of a puzzle he didn't ask for? And what did it all have to do with his missing father? The next morning, Aman asked his mother about the photo, but her voice was weak and her memory was fading. She looked at the photo for a long time, then whispered, "Some memories are hidden for a reason." That only made Aman more confused. He wanted answers. He needed them. And he knew only one person could help now, the old man. But who was he? Aman went back to the dry field the next day. The dead tree stood still, alone. No one came. The sun set. The wind blew. But the man never returned. On the third day, Aman found something, a small note, placed under a rock near the tree. It read, "You want truth? Then walk alone to the hill behind the abandoned shrine. Bring nothing but courage. I will be waiting." Aman folded the note and looked toward the shrine. It was outside the village, old and broken. People said it was haunted, a place where prayers were lost in the wind. But Aman wasn't afraid anymore. He was angry, and he was desperate. That evening, Aman walked alone. His heart was beating fast. The air felt cold. When he reached the shrine, the sun was almost gone. Behind the shrine was a narrow path leading up to a rocky hill. As he climbed, he heard nothing but the sound of his own breath. When he reached the top, the old man was there, sitting on a stone, looking at the sky like he was waiting for Aman all his life. "You came," the man said without turning. "You told me to," Aman replied. The old man nodded. "Few people listen to the voice they can't explain. You did." Aman stepped. "Closer. I want answers." "You will get them," the old man said, standing up. "But answers are heavy. Are you ready to carry them?" Aman stared into his eyes. "I've been carrying pain for years. How much heavier can truth be?" The old man smiled sadly. "Sometimes truth is heavier than pain." Aman showed him the photo. "Who is this boy?" The old man looked at it. "He was your friend. Your best friend. I don't remember him. You were 5. Something happened. You forgot. Your mind buried the memory." "What happened?" Aman asked, his voice shaking. "I can't tell you," the man said. "You must remember it yourself." Aman's hands curled into fists. "Why are you doing this to me? Why not just say it?" The old man stepped closer. "Because some truths must come from inside you. If I give them too early, they'll break you." Aman looked at the ground. His eyes burned with tears. My father disappeared. My mother is dying. And now, you give me puzzles instead of help? The old man placed a hand on his shoulder. Your father's story is not over. But before you find him, you must find yourself. Aman pushed his hand away. I don't understand any of this. The man nodded. That's how faith begins. Suddenly, a sound came from behind the rocks. Aman turned. The young woman from before stood there again. This time, she walked forward and spoke for the first time. You don't know me, Aman, but I know you. He looked at her face. She seemed familiar, but like a dream he couldn't quite remember. You were there that day, she said. The day everything changed. What day? He asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she handed him something. Locket. Inside was a tiny photo. A younger version of the same girl. And the same boy from the photo Aman had. All three of them together. You were with us, she said. You just don't remember yet. Aman stepped back, dizzy. His head was spinning. The girl spoke again. Your father tried to protect you. He made people forget. He made you forget. But the truth is coming back now. Why? Aman whispered. Because you're ready now, the old man said. But remember what I told you, if you want the truth, you must give up something you love. What does that mean? Aman asked, his voice rising. The man looked into his eyes. Your comfort, your safety, your idea of who you are, all of it. Aman stood in silence. The wind was cold now. The sky had turned dark. Where is my father? He finally asked. The old man looked at the stars. You'll find him. But first, you'll find someone else. Who? Yourself. The old man began to walk away again. The girl followed. Aman shouted, Wait! The old man turned once more. This journey won't be easy, Aman. You will lose more before you gain. But if you have faith, not in me, but in what you feel, deep inside, you'll reach the truth. And if I don't? Aman asked. Then you'll stay in the dark, just like before. Aman watched them disappear into the night. He was alone again, but not empty. He looked at the photo. The boy, the girl, himself, 3 lives, once connected, and now, about to be connected again. As he walked down the hill, something inside him had changed. Not peace, not answers, but something more dangerous. Hope. That night, Aman couldn't sleep. His mind was a storm. Faces from the past, voices he couldn't recognize, and questions with no answers kept spinning in his head. The locket, the photo, the boy, the girl, and the old man who always disappeared. Too soon. Aman stared at the ceiling. Who am I really? What happened in my past? Why did my father hide it all from me? The next morning, Aman sat beside his mother's bed. She was weaker now, her breath slow, her skin cold. He placed a wet cloth on her forehead. Ami, he whispered. I need to know. Who were those kids in the photo with me? She didn't open her eyes, but her lips moved. They were your world once. Aman leaned closer. You knew them. Her fingers slowly reached for his hand. He did it. To protect you, she whispered. Who? She took a deep, painful breath. Your father. Aman's eyes filled with tears. Protect me from what? But she didn't answer. She had fallen asleep again. Later that day, Aman returned to the small storage room behind their house. Old boxes, dust, rusted locks. He searched for hours. Finally, in a wooden trunk wrapped in cloth, he found a bundle of letters. They were hidden under a cracked photo frame. The letters had his father's handwriting. Aman sat down on the floor, heart pounding, and began to read. Letter 1. Aman, if you're reading this, it means the past has found you. Forgive me, Beta. I did what I had to. Not for me, for you. There are things you saw as a child, things no child should remember. So I made you forget. I begged God to erase the pain. But truth doesn't stay buried forever. Aman's hands were shaking. What had he seen as a child? What had he forgotten? He opened the second letter. Letter 2. Your best friend, Zaid, you loved him like a brother. And Alina, she was like your sister. That day, the fire, it changed everything. I tried to save them, but I failed. And after that, someone came for us. We had to disappear, Aman gasped. Fire? Disappearance? His father knew Zaid and Alina, the boy and girl in the photo? Suddenly, a sound made Aman jump, a knock on the door. He quickly hid the letters and opened the door. It was the old man. Again. This time, Aman didn't ask who he was. He was too tired. He just stared at him and said, You knew my father. The old man nodded. Yes. We were once brothers in faith. Until he broke. Aman felt anger rise. He didn't break. He tried to protect me. The old man's eyes were sharp now. Sometimes protecting is another name for hiding. And hiding leads to rot. Aman stepped closer. What happened that day? What fire? What did I forget? The old man looked away. I told you. You must remember it yourself. I'm ready, Aman said, his voice hard. No, the man said. You're not. Not yet. He handed Aman a small book. It had no title, no name, just worn brown leather. What is this? Aman asked. The old man whispered, Your father's journal, but the truth inside it will hurt. I need to know. Then start reading tonight. But remember this. He leaned in, close. Every truth has a cost. Then, like always, the old man turned and walked away. No goodbye. No explanation. Just more silence. That night, Aman opened the journal. The pages were filled with pain, stories of running, stories of betrayal, names he didn't know. Zaid's father blamed me, one page said, but it wasn't my fault. Someone else lit the fire, someone with power. They wanted to destroy proof. They didn't care who died. Aman's head was spinning. Zaid had a father, a powerful man, and someone had tried to cover something up. That fire. It wasn't an accident. Suddenly a memory hit him, a flash, a room full of smoke, screaming, a hand pulling him out, another hand letting go. A child's scream echoing behind him. He dropped the journal and grabbed his head. Tears ran down his face. He was remembering slowly, painfully, but remembering. He ran to his mother's room. She was awake now, looking at the ceiling. Ami, he whispered. Zaid, was he real? She turned her head slowly and nodded. I'm sorry, she whispered. We had to make you forget. You were screaming every night. We couldn't bear it. What happened to him? I don't know, she said, voice shaking. We heard he didn't make it, but we never saw him again. Aman's heart broke. His best friend, burned in a fire, and he had forgotten. Until now. Later that night, Aman sat outside, staring at the stars. He felt like the earth had shifted beneath him. He was no longer the same boy. He knew the truth was only just beginning, and more pain was coming. But something in him had changed, not strength, not peace, but something deeper, courage. Suddenly, a voice behind him whispered, You remember, don't you? He turned. Alina stood there, the girl from the photo, older now, but her eyes still carried the same sadness. Aman stood up slowly. I saw the fire, he said. I remember the scream. Alina nodded. It wasn't Zaid who screamed. Aman froze. What? She stepped closer. It was me. I screamed. I was the one left behind. He stared at her, shocked. Then, Zaid? Alina looked away. They said he died, but he didn't. He was taken. By who? She looked into his eyes. By the man who started the fire, the man who wanted us all gone. And now, he knows you're remembering. Aman couldn't believe what he had just heard. Zaid was alive? All these years, he thought his best friend had died in the fire. That painful scream, he thought it was Zaid's, but it was Alina's, and Zaid had been taken. Taken by who? Why? And where was he now? Aman's heart felt like it was breaking all over again. Alina sat beside him in silence. The night was dark. Even the stars seemed to be hiding. After a long pause, she spoke. I wasn't supposed to survive either, but someone helped me escape. Who? Aman asked. She hesitated. Your father. Aman's eyes widened. He saved you? She nodded slowly. But after that night, he disappeared with you and your mother. I thought you were dead too. I don't remember anything, Aman said, his voice low. That's because he erased the memories, Alina whispered. To protect you. Aman held his head in his hands. So many lies, so much silence. And now it's all falling apart. Not falling apart, Alina said gently. Falling open. He looked at her. How do you know Zaid is alive? Saw him once, she said. 2 years after the fire. Aman leaned forward. Where? In a car, dark windows. He looked out and saw me. Our eyes met. And then, the car sped away. Did he recognize you? She nodded. Yes. But he looked different, scared, lost. Aman's thoughts raced. If Zaid was alive, that changed everything. Why didn't his father tell him? Why did everyone pretend the past was dead? And more than anything, who took Zaid and why? Aman stood up. I need to find him. Alina looked up. You're not ready. Don't tell me that, Aman snapped. Everyone says that. I've waited too long. She stood too. You're still not seeing the full truth. Then show me. She looked around, nervous. We can't talk here. They're watching. Who? She pointed toward the edge of the village. The ones who erased the road? Aman frowned. What road? Alina took his hand. Come, I'll show you. They walked in silence for nearly 20 minutes. They crossed old paths, broken fences, and finally came to a place filled with wild grass. It looked like nothing had ever been built there. Here, she said. Aman looked around. There's nothing here. That's the point, Alina replied. There was something. Years ago, there was a road here, a wide one. It led to a compound, a big house. Whose house? She looked at him. Zaid's father. Aman's stomach turned. The letters, the journal. The fire. Zaid's father had been part of it all. Why would he hurt his own son? Because he had secrets, Alina said. He was working with powerful people. They were hiding something. And we saw it. Aman felt a chill. What did? We see? She shook her head. I don't fully remember. I was 6, but we saw something they didn't want us to tell anyone. And the fire? Was to erase it all. Aman walked forward and knelt down. He dug into the dirt with his hands. Suddenly, he hit something hard, a broken tile. He pulled it out. It was part of a driveway. He looked up at Alina. You were right. There was a road here. She nodded. But now no one remembers it. No one talks about it. Aman looked into the distance. How can a whole place just disappear? Fear, she said. Fear can erase memories, and power can rewrite stories. Suddenly, they heard a noise behind them. Voices. Flashlights. Someone was coming. Alina grabbed Aman's hand. Run! They ran through the tall grass. ducking under branches, jumping over stones. Aman's heart pounded. They didn't stop until they reached a small cave hidden behind trees. They crawled inside and stayed silent. The lights passed by. The voices faded. But the fear stayed. Inside the cave, Alina lit a small candle. Aman looked around. On the walls were drawings, old, faded, but familiar. Children's drawings. "I used to come here as a child," she said. "You and Zaid did too." Aman touched one of the drawings, 3 stick figures, a sun, a house, the letters A, Z, and L written beside them. A tear slipped from his eye. "We were so happy." "Yes," Alina said softly. "Before the fire." After a while, Aman broke the silence. "What do we do now?" Alina looked at him. "We find the one person who knows where Zaid is." "Who?" She hesitated. "Your father." Aman shook his head. "I don't even know if he's alive." "He is," she said. "The old man. He's been protecting you. And he knows where your father is hiding." Aman clenched his jaw. "Then I'll find him. I'll get answers. No more waiting." As they left the cave, the sky began to turn blue. Morning was coming. Aman looked back at the wild grass, the place where the road once existed. A road no one remembered. A boy no one searched for. A truth no one wanted spoken. But Aman had changed. He wasn't afraid anymore. He had lost time. But now, he had fire. As he and Alina walked back to the village, Aman whispered, far away from Aman's village. In a cold, silent building surrounded by tall fences, a boy sat by a dusty window. His face was pale. His hands were weak. His eyes full of questions. His name was Zaid. He pressed his ear to the door of his small, locked room. Silence. No footsteps, no voices, not this time. Only the ticking of a slow, lonely clock. Zaid had lived in this place for years. He didn't know how many. He had lost count. He didn't know where he was, or why he was there. He only knew one thing. He wasn't supposed to leave. The men in black coats made that clear every day. They smiled, but their eyes were empty. They gave him food, clean clothes, a soft bed, but no love, no answers, no freedom. Zaid wasn't always alone. He remembered fire. He remembered a girl crying. He remembered a boy pulling his hand. "Run, Zaid, run!" But then, black smoke and silence. He had screamed, loud, but no one came for him. Instead, they came. One day, a man in a gray suit walked in. He looked like someone important. He sat beside Zaid and smiled kindly. "Do you know who I am?" the man asked. Zaid shook his head. "I'm your father's friend," the man said. Zaid frowned. "My father's dead." The man smiled wider. "No, he's very much alive." Zaid's heart skipped a beat. "Then why hasn't he come for me?" The man leaned closer. "Because he chose them over you." Zaid didn't know who them meant, but the way the man said it, it hurt. "I don't believe you," Zaid whispered. The man stood up. "You don't have to. One day the truth will hurt more than the lie." Then he left, locking the door behind him. That was 2 years ago. Now Zaid barely spoke. He didn't ask questions anymore. He had stopped crying long ago, but deep inside, a voice still whispered, "They lied. They left you. They're hiding something." Back in the village, Aman sat beside the old man. They were outside, under a tree. The sun had just set. "You knew my father," Aman said. "You followed him. You helped him disappear. But now I need answers." The old man didn't speak for a while. Then he took out a small envelope. Inside it was a photo, faded and torn. Aman looked at it. His breath caught in his chest. It was a picture of Zaid, maybe taken just last year. He was older now, but the sadness in his eyes was the same. "Where is he?" Aman asked. The old man looked away. "You'll need to go where maps won't help." He pulled out a rough sketch. It showed a building in the middle of nowhere, fenced, hidden, no signs, no roads, just a dot in the corner that said, Project R. Aman. Stared at it. "What is this place?" "A place where they keep people who know too much," the old man said. "People who must forget." "Who runs it?" The man didn't answer, but Aman already knew. Zaid's father. The next day, Aman and Alina packed bags. They didn't tell anyone where they were going. Aman kissed his mother's forehead and whispered, "I'll bring the truth back. I promise." She smiled weakly and said, "May Allah protect you, Beta." With that, they left. They traveled for hours, past broken highways, past places with no names, until the signal on Aman's phone disappeared. "This is the place," Alina whispered. They stood on a hill looking down, and there it was, Project R gray buildings, tall fences, guards with radios, but no signboards, no logo, nothing official. It looked like it didn't even exist. Aman gripped the fence tightly. "Zaid is in there." Inside the locked room, Zaid looked at the window again. He felt something. He didn't know what, but something had changed in the air, like hope was near. For the first time in years, he whispered someone's name. "Aman." And far outside, behind the trees, Aman froze. He didn't know why, but he heard it too. That night, they watched the guards, counted their steps, noted the lights, planned their way in. "There's a tunnel," Alina said. "Behind the building. I heard them talk about it once." "We'll go in tomorrow," Aman said. "We could get caught." "I don't care. We've come too far." At midnight, in a small room filled with shadows, Zaid sat against the wall, staring at the stars through a narrow window. He thought of the boy who used to laugh beside him, the girl who used to sing, the life that was taken away. "Maybe they forgot me," he whispered. "Maybe I don't matter anymore." He didn't know that just outside the walls, two people were risking everything to bring him back. The night was dark and silent. Only the wind moved through the tall grass outside the hidden facility. Aman and Alina lay flat on the ground, just beyond the outer fence of Project R. Ahead of them were guards, searchlights, and walls that seemed impossible to cross, but they had come too far to stop now. Aman checked his small map again. "The tunnel starts near the water tank," he whispered. Alina nodded. "I saw it once when I was a child. I think it still exists." They waited, watched, timed the guards' movements. Then they ran. Low to the ground, silent. Every second felt like a scream inside their chests. They reached the backside of the compound. Hidden behind bushes and weeds, they found an old metal grate. Was rusted, bolted shut. Aman pulled hard. Nothing. Then Alina took out a small screwdriver from her bag. "I brought this, just in case." She worked quickly, hands shaking. Minutes passed. Then, click, the bolts came loose. Together they lifted the grate and slid inside. The tunnel smelled like dust and old metal. It was tight, dark, and wet. They moved slowly, crawling, breathing hard. Finally, after what felt like forever, they saw light, a weak bulb hanging over a ladder. Aman climbed first. At the top was a metal hatch. He pushed gently. It opened with a soft creak. He peeked out, a quiet hallway, no one in sight. They climbed up and stepped inside the facility. Inside, the air felt heavy, too clean, too silent. White walls, long corridors, closed doors. "This place feels like a ghost," Alina whispered. Aman nodded. But he wasn't afraid. He was ready. They moved fast, hiding whenever they heard footsteps. Aman's heart beat faster with every door they passed. Then he stopped. One door had a number, room 7B. She stared at it. I don't know why, but I feel he's in there. He tried the door. Locked. There was no keyhole, just a scanner, fingerprint Face ID. He looked at Alina. What now? Suddenly a voice echoed behind them. Looking for someone? They froze. A tall man stood at the end of the hallway, gray suit, cold eyes. Aman stepped in front of Alina. Who are you? The man smiled. Someone who knows your father well. Where is he? The man ignored the question. You've come for the boy. Zaid. Aman clenched his fists. Yes. The man stepped closer. Brave, but foolish. Alina held Aman's arm. We know what happened. The fire. The truth you buried. The man raised an eyebrow. Truth? You think this is about truth? He laughed. This is about control. And your little rescue mission, it ends here. He pulled out a radio. Aman acted fast. He charged forward and knocked the device from the man's hand. It hit the floor and broke. The man pushed Aman back. Strong. Trained. But Aman didn't stop. Suddenly, a loud alarm rang through the building. Red. Lights flashed. Doors locked. The man smiled. Now they'll come. Aman grabbed Alina's hand. Run! They ran through the hallway, turning fast, looking for another way to reach 7B. Alina pointed to a door marked Control. They burst in. Monitors, screens, security feeds. Aman saw a familiar face on one of the screens. Zaid, sitting alone. Head down. Room 7B, Alina found a control panel. I think I can unlock the door from here, she typed quickly. Come on. Come on. The lights turned green. Go. The door should be open. Aman ran. Back to the hallway. Back to room 7B. The door slid open. Inside, Zaid sat still. He didn't look up. Zaid, Aman said softly. The boy didn't move. Aman stepped closer. It's me. Aman. Zaid slowly raised his head. His eyes widened. He stood up, shocked. Silent. Aman. Tears filled his eyes. Is it really you? Aman nodded, his voice breaking. I came back for you. Zaid rushed into his arms, and for the first time in years, he felt safe. Back in the control room, Alina watched the cameras. Guards were coming. Too many. She ran to the hallway. We need to leave. Now. Zaid looked at her. You're Alina? She smiled. Yes, and we don't have much time. They ran through the halls, retracing the way to the tunnel, but guards had blocked the path. Trapped. No way out. Until, Zaid pointed. There's another way. A back gate. I've seen them use it. They turned and ran. Every second counted as they reached the gate. They found it locked. Again. No key. Just a fingerprint pad. Zaid looked at the pad. Then at his hand. I think I can open it. He pressed his palm against the scanner. Beep. Green light. The gate opened. They ran into the darkness. Behind them, voices shouted, but they didn't stop. They didn't look back. They didn't stop running until they reached the hills. Safe. Free. Zaid dropped to the ground out of breath. Tears fell from his eyes. You came back for me. Aman held his hand tightly. I never forgot you. Alina sat beside them. We're not done yet. They'll come after us. Aman looked at the stars above. We'll be ready. But far away, in a dark office, the man in the gray suit made a call. They escaped, a deep voice answered. Let them run. They won't run far. The night air was cold. Zaid sat between Aman and Alina on the grass. They had escaped the dark building, but freedom didn't feel real yet. His body was safe now. Yes. But his mind, still trapped, still afraid, still haunted. I don't know who I am anymore, Zaid whispered. You're my brother, Aman said gently. No matter what they told you, no matter how long it's been. Zaid looked down. I believed their lies. I thought I was forgotten. Aman placed a hand on his shoulder. You were never forgotten. Alina gave Zaid a small piece of bread. You need to eat. You'll need strength. They were quiet for a while, but peace didn't last. In a control room far away, the man in the gray suit stood over a large table. On it, a screen showed 3 red dots blinking. A signal. They activated the tracker, he said coldly. His assistant frowned. You put a tracker on the boy? The man didn't smile. I never let my property leave. The next morning, Aman and the others walked along a hidden trail. They avoided roads, avoided people. Zaid kept looking over his shoulder. Why do I feel like they're watching? Alina scanned the sky. We should have taken out the tracker. What tracker? Zaid asked. Aman's eyes widened. They must have planted something on you. A chip, maybe in your clothes? They stopped. Quickly. They checked Zaid's shirt, his shoes, pockets. Nothing. Then Alina touched behind his ear. A small bump. There. They had no tools. No doctors, only a knife. I can do it, Aman said. Just hold still. Zaid nodded. Biting his lips, he sat down. Aman cut slowly, carefully. Zaid winced in pain. Blood trickled down. Then, a small silver chip came out. Alina crushed it with a rock. No more signals, she said. But it was too late. The hunters were already on their way. By afternoon, black SUVs drove down silent roads. Inside were men in dark uniforms, armed, trained. Ready. They can't hide for long, one of them said. We'll get the boy back. And the others? Dead or alive. Aman and the group reached an old shelter in the woods, a place the old man once told him about. Safe. For now. Zaid lay down on a mat, tired and pale. I don't want to go back there, he whispered. You won't, Aman promised. Not while I'm breathing. Alina checked the window. We need a plan. That night, rain started falling. Thunder rolled across the sky, and with it came headlights. 2 cars, parked near the edge of the woods. Aman looked through the cracks of the wooden wall. They're here. Alina pulled out the only weapon they had, a small knife. Too many for us, she said. Aman thought fast. Not if we distract them. He gave Zaid a walkie-talkie. I'll lead them away. You follow the path behind the hill. Alina knows the way. No, Zaid said. I won't leave you again. You have to. Aman pulled him into a hug. You have to survive. So, the world hears your story. Zaid's eyes filled with tears. You're not just my brother. You're my hero. Aman smiled sadly. Then let me finish what I started. He ran out into the storm, shouting, throwing a rock at one of the cars. The guards saw him. There! He ran into the forest. Fast, wild, drawing them away from the shelter. Gunshots echoed behind him. Alina grabbed Zaid's hand. Now, we go. They ran through mud and trees, rain pouring, hearts racing. Behind them, voices, flashlights, dogs barking. Zaid tripped and fell. Alina pulled him up. We don't stop. Not now. They kept going until the sounds faded, until only the rain remained. Somewhere in the dark, Aman was still running. He hid behind a tree, gasping. His leg was bleeding, but he smiled. They took everything from us, he whispered. Now, I'll take something back. Back in the facility, the man in the gray suit watched the tracking screen. One dot had vanished, but the other, still blinking, he pointed to it. There. The brother. His assistant looked confused. I thought the boy was the target. The man smiled. Both are valuable now. One remembers, the other inspires. Zaid and Alina reached a road by sunrise. An old van passed by. They waved. The driver stopped, a kind face. Where are you kids going? He asked. Alina answered quickly. To the city, to tell the truth. The man nodded. "Hop in." As the van drove away, Zaid looked out the window, thinking of Aman, his sacrifice, his promise. Tears rolled down his cheeks, but his eyes burned with fire. "They tried to break me," he whispered. "They failed." The city was loud. Cars moved fast. People walked past each other, not knowing the story of a boy who had survived the darkest place. Zaid sat inside a small room at a local newspaper office. Across from him, a kind journalist listened carefully. Alina sat beside him, holding his hand. He took a deep breath. Then he spoke. "My name is Zaid. I was taken when I was 7, locked away, forgotten, experimented on." His voice shook. "But I didn't give up, because I believed someone would come." He looked down. "And someone did. My brother, Aman." The journalist leaned forward. "What happened to him?" Zaid's eyes filled with tears. "He ran into danger, so I could escape." The room went quiet, only the sound of the pen scribbling. Far away in a hidden forest, Aman opened his eyes slowly. He was still alive. His body hurt everywhere, but he was breathing. Rain had stopped. Birds sang softly. He crawled toward a small cave, found shelter. He smiled weakly. "They'll be okay." 3 days later, Zaid's story made headlines. Child survivor escapes secret facility. News channels reported everything. Protests began. People demanded answers. The government couldn't hide it anymore. Project R was exposed, shut down. But the man in the gray suit, he disappeared, vanished like smoke. Zaid became a symbol, not just of pain, but of strength. He spoke at schools, on stages. He told children, even when the world goes dark, you must carry the fire inside. People listened. They cried. They clapped. He didn't want fame. He wanted change. One day, after a long speech, a boy came up to him. Small, scared. "My father hurts me," he whispered. Zaid knelt down and hugged him. "You're not alone," he said. "You never were." He helped the boy find safety. And that night, Zaid whispered to himself, "I see you, Aman, in every child I save." A year passed. Zaid and Alina built a small home near the mountains, quiet, safe, full of peace. But every night, Zaid lit a candle at the window for Aman, for the fire that never died. One evening, there was a knock at the door. Zaid opened it slowly. No one was there. Just a letter on the ground. He picked it up. His hands shook as he opened it. Inside was a note. "You carried the light when I could not. I see you, brother. I'm proud of you. A." Zaid gasped. He ran outside looking around, but the road was empty. Still, he smiled. "Alive," he whispered. "He's alive." Alina came out and stood beside him. "You think he'll come home one day?" Zaid nodded. "I don't need to find him. I just need to know. He's free, in a quiet corner of another town." Aman sat on a park bench, wearing a cap low over his face. Watching, smiling, he saw Zaid's story on a screen at a shop window. His voice, his power, his hope. Aman wiped a tear. "You did it," he whispered. "You changed the world." The man in the gray suit, however, sat in a dark room underground, angry, defeated, but not done. He looked at a file marked Next Generation Program, Faith and Control. He picked up a phone. "Start again," he said, but this time, the world was watching. This time, the fire had already spread. Because one boy broke the silence. Because one brother kept his promise. Because faith is dangerous. And sometimes, faith begins where certainty ends.